everyone, it's Sid from Partridge exterior cleaning. Just doing a day's work today. Thought I'd make a little video. No, I'm just joking. I mean, look at all this. Snowed absolutely everywhere. I'm sure you've had the same if you're in England. It's pretty much covered the country, I think. But yeah, I just went for a little walk. I thought I'd do a little video, seeing as there's not really anything else to do. So today what I'm going to be doing, I've thought about it a lot recently, especially because of the whole COVID situation. There's been a lot of people that I'm starting up a brand new business. I get people messaging me all the time. How do I do this? What did you do to start up? How long did it take you? How much, do you sort of make a month in your first sort of year? So I thought I'd do a quick video on sort of, I don't know how many it's going to be, say 3 or 4 things to do before you start your own business. Now, I'm not like a business mogul or an expert, but I'm just going to explain the things that I did and the things that I've been telling other people to do that I wish that I did, basically. So yeah, so this is my own video. It's, so you don't have to take my advice, which is one of the points, get many reference points from many different people. Don't just listen to the words of one person, but here's just a few tips from me. So number 1, you need to sort of give yourself a bit of a reality check, really, which is something that I didn't do. So can you actually do it? Can you afford to do it? And I don't just mean monetary wise, I mean mentally, physically, and do you have the time? So can you afford all of those things? It's going to be all consuming. You're not going to have really any time for most of the things that you're probably used to having now with your regular 9 to 5 or your full-time or part-time job that you're in. It takes up, especially when you really start getting into it, it takes up every spare minute you've got if you really want to make it work. So if your weekends are packed up, you're busy, you've got loads of commitments, or every Tuesday you've got to have the day off because of so-and-so, that's already leaving you 4 days in the week then to work. Now 4 days, if you've already got an established business, hell yeah, you can do that. I probably only work about 4 days a week, to be honest. But if you are starting that business, you're pretty much 7 days a week. You have to fit in jobs wherever you can. And there's going to be a lot of times where the weather will set you back. I mean, like this. So this is a few days off now. There's nothing, since it started snowing, there's nothing that you can do. I can't clean a roof in this. Well, maybe I could technically, but it's not worth the hassle for me. I couldn't be cleaning windows. I can't be, putting a ladder down in the snow. And again, you could, but I'd rather be safe. I'd rather not bother. So yeah, can you afford it mentally, physically, and time-wise? And again, if I'm basing this on exterior cleaning, so it's a hard job. If you're cleaning roofs, it's difficult. It's really physical work. Very physical work. It is knackering. Window cleaning, not so much. Anyone can do that. Guttering and stuff, yeah, it'll ache your arms and stuff, but it's nothing too major. So the physical side is probably the easiest part, to be honest, to get it all done. Money wise, if you're skint, you can still start up. There's no reason, but money makes money. So the more you've got to start up with, the better off you're going to be, and the quicker you're going to be able to get things done. But yeah, and then mentally, if you're a person that's stressed easy, if you're a person that is no good at handling pressure, it might be time to rethink how you're going to go about starting your own business, because it's stressful, very stressful. So it's not to say that you can't do it if you struggle with a lot of things mentally. I mean, I do. I'm a really anxious person. I have anxiety quite bad, which really bothered me. It made starting a business for me 10 times harder than it should have been. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so that's point 1. Right then, so secondly, number 2, this especially goes out to the old boys out there. You need to get your social media up and running. This video is things to think about and things to do before you start your own business. So this is while you're still at your job, or say you've just been made redundant and you're sitting on a fat stash of redundancy. Don't waste this time, man. The time that you're thinking about starting up is already being wasted. It takes 5 minutes to start a Facebook page. It takes 5 minutes to register your business on Google. You could get your whole backdrop of social media and your website all sorted within the first day, within one single day, and that could already be all done. Now, the way social media works, again, I'm not an expert on the tech side of anything either, but the way a lot of it works is the longer that things have been around and the more things that have been posted on it, there's more chance of it being pushed up at the top by algorithms, and there's more chance that the SEO type thing is going to work in your favour. So the more times that you've posted pictures, I mean, these don't even have to be pictures of jobs that you've done yet. It's just even posts on a brand new Facebook page have you basically, you know, use other people's pictures if they're okay with it, because until you've done the jobs, how are you meant to get before and after pictures? So message people, say, is it okay if I use your pictures, you know, etc, etc. Get your social medias up and running, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Google. It's very important, super important. And now this is me being honest. Without Facebook advertising, I wouldn't have made really any money this year. I would have made a bit just off referrals from the previous year and just my knowledge and experience, I guess. But in terms of getting work in, the vast majority of my work has been from Facebook and has been from Google. I've perfected little advertising techniques that, you know, it's taken me a long time to do. My first adverts that you roll out, you're thinking, man, what am I doing wrong? Why is, you know, I'm spending 20 quid on this advert, why am I not getting any work in? That's because that 20 quid you've spent, people are looking at it, seeing the advert, just as they're seeing anyone else's advert, and then they're clicking onto your page and going, let's check it out, and there's nothing on there, or the last post was from a year ago, or it's a brand new page, there's not even a logo on the bloody page yet, there's no likes, there's no comments, there's no pictures, there's nothing on that page. So people are thinking, I ain't gonna bother with that one because I don't even know what they do. You know, I'm about to be scammed, or you know, they're gonna take my money and run. You know, you never know. So even before you start, give the impression that you haven't just started, basically, because a lot of people don't want to trust a brand new business. So you've got to counteract that by appearing like you're not a brand new business, basically. I'd really highly recommend anyone that ever asks me, like, oh, I'm thinking of starting up, the first thing I'll say is, as soon as you've pressed the order button on your equipment, or you've even had the idea in your head to do it, set up the Facebook page, set up the Google. It's the most important thing. The longer it's around, the better it will perform. Right then, point number 3. Yeah, I was really struggling for ideas actually when I was walking down here, but now they're just flowing off. People are probably looking at me like I'm an idiot walking around here filming myself. But yes, point number 3 is get a mentor, and not just one, get a few, or even just ask a few people for advice, basically. Now, there's been a few times when I was new, say I didn't know how to clean a roof, and I asked someone, you know, hey, what do I do? What's the best methods to do this? Blah, 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 and they told me an answer. I took that as gospel, and then that was the way that I cleaned my first, you know, probably 4 or 5 roofs. And then on later inspection, if that person had told me, or I'd have got a different view on things, I would have cut down my speed on those jobs. I would have done a lot of things differently, and more efficiently. But I took the advice of someone who probably didn't really know what they were doing, but I just thought they did. So I was up on the roof constantly with a wire brush, getting every tiny little fibre out of the, out of the roof. I didn't even know what biocide was. I had no idea how to do that job at all. I was just up there and it was just basically a scrape only thing. I didn't even know you could treat a roof, because no one ever told me, and I didn't bother to do my own research. And I bothered to ask one person that posted a picture of them cleaning a roof, and I thought they were an expert. And there's a lot of people that will message me for advice and going, oh, how do I do this, 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 and this? And I'll go, well, I can tell you how to scrape and treat a roof, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what I'm doing when it comes to using hypo on a roof. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what I'm doing when it comes to jet washing a roof, because I don't do it. So I can't give anyone advice on that, and I wouldn't pretend to. So I always say, you might be better off asking someone else about that sort of thing. So yeah, but mainly the whole round off point to that is get yourself a mentor or more, in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people that you'll speak to regularly, and just check in on them and just say, hey, here's my first few jobs, or I'm thinking of starting up. Is this the right way to go about it? What equipment would you, John, recommend? What about you, Steve? What do you recommend? And then you'll get a few different ideas then. And then when there's a general consensus there of like, yeah, this is a good pole to use, this is the best system that you should have in your van, this is how you should be getting your customers. You know, if they're all sort of matching up, or a few people are saying the same thing, then you can probably take that advice as good advice. Or if you know full well that that person that you're speaking to, who's been kind enough to give you time out of their day, you know they're doing well, you know they're successful, you know there's a lot of people behind them that agree, like, yeah, this guy's a great bloke. Take the advice because it's good. So yeah, get a mentor. They'll talk you through on how to do the work. And, you know, it's not a hard job, anyone can learn it. But they'll also talk you through the business side of things as well, and sort of managing, in a sense, what I'm doing now, and just giving you helpful little advice so that you don't come unstuck sort of halfway through. You spent $2,000 on equipment and then you sat there going, oh fuck, what do I do now? You know, I can't get the work in, I'm just sat here waiting for my phone to ring. And that's sort of the place that you don't want to be in business, but it can be inevitable sometimes. And right then, the final point, this is point number 4. This is an important one for a lot of people to think about. You are probably going to fail, at least in some aspect. I would probably say 8 out of 10 people that start up a new business, it's probably, the number's probably 9 out of 10 people, they probably won't be here in a year. I can't remember what thing, I'm sure it was like 80% of businesses or something fail in the first year. And we're no exception in the cleaning industry, are we? So I understand there's a very high chance of you failing, so always think like that in your head. I don't want to be that part of that 80% or that 90%. I don't want that to be me, and I always thought that. Whenever I heard that figure, I was like, I don't want to be part of that statistic. I want to be the other end. I want to be the 10% or the 20%. But even I have failed many times in a smaller way. I haven't failed big enough to shut down my business and call it quits. But there's a few times where if I was a financial expert, or I was, you know, someone who was giving business advice, I probably would have said to me, yeah, it's time to give it up, bud, because it's just not working out, is it? And I remember being there, living with my dad, and we were working together, and it was like 4 days a week we were eating beans and noodles for dinner because we couldn't afford, you know, to eat. Yeah, because we couldn't afford to get any proper meals in. You know what I mean? We were absolutely skint. I remember my partner came over, and she was like, oh, you know, I was really skint. We weren't together long either. I was really skint. And she said, oh, I bet you're not doing that bad. And I said, yeah, have a look at my bank account. And I got my app up on my phone, and I think there was literally like £6 in my bank account. And that was it. And I had a lot of bills coming out. I had to borrow money off my friend to pay my internet bill the one time. And this was all in the space of a year. This was like the first year of business, and it was a struggle, such a struggle. And that should have been the time when it was like, hey, I know me and my dad were probably both thinking it in some aspect, like maybe it's time we got maybe it's time we got a proper job, as people would say. But now we pushed on, and then we ended up making something out of it. And then I took the lessons learned from being so bloody skint living there, and then when I moved, I've never been in that situation again. My bank account has never run that low, not even close to it. So I've learned a lot of things, and sometimes it takes a failure to learn these important lessons. So if you do get to that point in your business once you've started up, or if you're very new now, or even if you're established, you know, anyone can fall on a hard time. I don't think the world discriminates in that aspect, does it? So just think, push on, keep a level head. I don't want to be part of that statistic. And eventually, as long as you are putting the effort in, things will come into fruition. It's the people that are staying in bed on days they shouldn't be, you know, and the people that are making excuses for themselves, like, oh, I didn't go out today because it rained till 2. Well, you know what I mean? It doesn't get dark till 5, so you could have worked for 2 till 5, couldn't you? So it's the people like that, if they're whinging about having no money or not being successful or wondering why the business isn't working out. And I was one of those people, and I was moaning and whinging and making excuses for myself. And again, I'm not like a epitome of success. I'm not like a rich man by any means, you know, but all I do know is, it's why I'm making this video, is just sort of trying to help people out that will probably make the same mistakes as me. But if you hear about making that mistake, there's less chance of you making it, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah, I wish I'd have done a bit more research. I wish I watched some YouTube videos of people, in a sense, just to know what to expect, because I was a bit naive and I just thought, yeah, I can do it, whatever I want. In the long run, I guess I did, and I guess it worked out for me, but it won't work out for a lot of people. And at that time I had no kids. I didn't have like a mortgage to pay for or anything. I didn't, you know, have a car. I didn't have anything. So me having no money wasn't the biggest deal in the world. I could deal with it. But for these guys that are starting up, that have got kids, it'd be like me if I was starting up now. Oh my days, my stress levels would be so high. Because again, you're going into an industry where you don't actually know what you're doing, which is why, cut back to the previous point, get some mentors, get some people to speak to you, and help you out. But I'll leave it there before this video gets too long. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you in a video very soon when all this weather clears up. Cheers.